Second, I want to talk about the cost of unresolved trauma to your relationships. Okay, so we covered the body, and that's your physical health, which really has such a front row importance on the day-to-day quality of our life. Now, let's talk about how unresolved trauma affects our relationships. Now, I would first ask you, what do you think your biggest relationship problem is? So let me tell you, the 3 biggest relationship problems people report in long-term relationships or marriage are finances, communication problems, and sex, often leading to some sort of infidelity. So just first, interesting to consider if you're in that majority on that statistic, what you feel your biggest relationship problem is. And also interesting to note that you're probably right now making a list in your mind of the ways your partner is problematic in one or more of these areas. Am I right? Again, welcome to the human condition. So here's my take on this. I believe that the biggest relationship problem you have is your own unresolved trauma. There is absolutely nothing impacting your current relationships more than your own unresolved trauma. How is that? Because your unresolved trauma dictates how you show up with money, how you define safety and security and freedom and power and all the things that money represents. Your ability to communicate is limited by your awareness of your own needs and emotions, as well as your ability to hear feedback without getting defensive and self-protective. The level at which you have processed your own traumas, which are creating your fears and insecurities, is the level at which you will be able to discuss things that poke at your fears and insecurities. You can't communicate about what you aren't willing to look at. So that's what most people's communication problems are really about. They aren't about communication at all. Basic communication skills are pretty simple and straightforward. They can be taught as a basic framework to almost anybody, and you can find videos like that on YouTube all over the place. If that was really the problem, we would have solved it by now. The real issue is the lack of self-knowledge and awareness that keeps you from being willing to see what's really here or be seen as you really are. And then there's sex, right? That's the real kicker for so many of us in relationship. And one of the easiest places to point our finger at our partner for the dissatisfaction we may feel. And I've yet to work with anyone who doesn't have some level of healing to do around their own sexuality. So first, I just want to normalize that and bring a lot of compassion to it. So when you've got your own feelings of shame and unworthiness and traumatic experiences and expectations that are still hardwired on that core visceral level for so many people, it's really almost universal that we are not seeing clearly what the real issue is when we're telling ourselves that we're dissatisfied with our sex life or our sexual partner. And then there's sex, which for many of us becomes the most revealing mirror for where we're still disconnected from ourselves. Sex is energy. Sex is intimacy. Sex is desire and surrender. But most of us are completely disconnected from or oblivious to the energy we're actually putting out into the world. We don't even think about it. It's not even on our radar. And what do I mean by that? I mean when you walk in the door and step into the room, from the second you step into that room, you're carrying a frequency with you that people around you can feel. Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you felt when someone enters a room and it's like this tangible presence? And it might be this like light cheerfulness and energy, or it might be that someone enters the room and they don't say a word, but you can just feel like this person is pissed. So sex is energy. And if we don't even know we have energy, there's so much we don't get about what's happening with us sexually or what makes great sex. Sex is also intimacy. Intimacy, into me, you see. But most of us are uncomfortable or incapable of true intimacy, which means allowing ourselves to be seen as we are and being capable of seeing another human without letting our own needs and agenda get in the way of who they are. Sex is desire. And very few of us have a healthy relationship with our desires. We either repress our desires and feel shame or unworthiness, or want to just hide from our desires. We don't want to choose. We don't want to make a decision. Or sex becomes a demand, like I want this, I need this, and you need to give this to me. Most people have no idea what to do with desire. And this again has everything to do with unresolved trauma. And last, sex is surrender. What's that? Surrender is the foundational spiritual practice of letting go into something greater than yourself. It's the ultimate act of trust in a higher power on a spiritual plane. And great sex has so much to do with surrender in a very beautiful, embodied way on one side, and being someone worthy of that kind of trust on the other side. Being something solid enough to surrender into. It's very difficult to become that kind of steady person unless you've done your own work. And that again has everything to do with unresolved trauma. So how is unresolved trauma affecting your relationship? In every possible way. Your unresolved trauma literally defines your limits of every skill and quality that creates relationship. It's everything. So I want to say this about my clients and about my own self. People come in and they want to talk about their relationship problems. It's the sex, it's the money, it's the communication. And I'll tell you, there's always on some superficial level, some logistical work we can do there and tools to offer. But eventually, the deeper issue always goes back to healing your own personal traumas. And once you do, the more superficial issues take care of themselves because we start showing up more aligned in our own selves. We heal the root and we grow more healthy, aligned, beautiful branches.